New York City, similar to California, they lockstep with each other, recently released their budget. And there's a significant shout out to all of my people out here in New York, from New York, popping off in New York. There's a significant amount of people that live in New York. And so I want to keep you guys informed because I know that they keep y'all distracted. You in the mire, you going back and forth. You got the Grubhub and DoorDash. They recently eliminated Airbnb out there. Shout out to my dog, Will CNA. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. New York and LA is lockstep. LA released their budget. New York recently released their budget. And when you start to comb through that budget, you realize that there's a significant amount of money that's been set aside for migrants. First, let's talk about the conditions that migrants are enduring through as they face their new curfew over in New York City and Chicago. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications, ladies and gentlemen.
The beginning of a controversial rule for asylum seekers who have moved to New York City and who find themselves staying in the biggest shelters. And tonight, those who have been leaving the shelters and roaming the streets at night will not be able to.
Yeah, they will face a curfew aimed only at them, but it could soon expand to all shelters. This just the latest controversy as the city grapples with the migrant crisis. We will keep you posted.
Meanwhile, tonight we take a deeper dive into the conditions some of the migrants face living in the kind of tent city that has popped up at Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn. The immigrants faced with some tough living conditions, no questions about it.
But those conditions go beyond tough. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Carlo.
The trek home from school for these mothers and their kids can feel a little bit longer and a lot colder, with so much weighing on their minds. 4-year-old Valentina's nasty cough is only getting worse, as is everything else for her and her mother, the longer they stay at Floyd Bennett Field.
That's not a place that's for children. It's not a decent place for children to be.
Wind rattled the tents at the migrant shelter as rain leaked in on December 17th, one of several big storms. Just last week, bad weather forced parents and their kids to spend the night sleeping on the floors of a school.
They told me that we would have a decent place to live. They told me I would have support finding work. Told me I would have support with my children.
Who promised you all that, ma'am? Did Eric promise you that? Tell me that EA Sports ain't out there promising. Tell me that Eric Adams did not come over here being a simp for single baby mamas. That's the same thing that these dudes promise y'all when they trying to bust y'all down in the streets. Real talk. How is the game any different? Oh, come on, baby. I got you. Your kids, they ain't gonna need nothing. I got you. I'm going to make sure that they get some decent schooling. I'm going to make sure that you got a place to live, a place over your head. Don't even worry about it. I got you. Medical care? Pah. I can put you on my benefits. You need a job? Well, you can come work for me. They promised him the same. He ran the same game that they running over there in the Bay Area, the same game that they running over there in Detroit, the same game. They are doing it, but they doing it on a political level. They promised you everything, and you can't even speak no English. No hablo English.
Those were lies.
The clock is ticking for Jennifer Vargas and her 3 kids. In just weeks, they'll be evicted and have to reapply for shelter once they hit their 60-day limit. It's the city's latest move to urge migrants to find permanent housing, but with what help, asks another mother. Aymar says it's been a struggle to apply for work authorization and complete other casework.
I'm given a phone number that I'm supposed to call, but I get an answering machine.
As these migrant families trudge through snow trying to stand on their own 2 feet, the city vows not to let a single family sleep on the street. But when the alternative is a tent shelter where an overflowing toilet is the least of the worries, the better life they're looking for seems elusive.
Having families in temporary shelters in the wintertime on a floodplain at a school that's 6-7 miles, at a location that's 6-7 miles from their school is inhumane.
And that
Inhumane. Inhumane. That is the word of the day. Inhumane. Rock bottom. Hunter Biden. Inhumane. So now your tax dollars, your resources, and the things that you pay into helping to make sure that you guys have a livable condition as far as the infrastructure and the schools that you then attend is now being given over to making sure that we create conditions that are inhumane for people that was not supposed to be here in the first place. Interesting. Well, considering these inhumane conditions, one of the things that we want to have a conversation about is what is this new New York budget and how are we allocating our resources both locally and federally to make sure that we accommodate all of these things that Eric Adams said in the beginning of this live stream. He said, listen, he held up his iPad. He said, listen, guys, we don't want to be like Los Angeles over there. They got people sleeping on the streets. We take care of ours. I know we got a sanitation problem. All hands on deck. I know we got a safety issue over here. Don't worry about it. We not hiring no police officers. Or maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen the budget. Let's go through it as presented by Eric Adams himself. Thank you, Eric.
Good afternoon, New York.
Good afternoon.
Our administration came into office with a clear mission to protect public safety.
Listen, if you having trouble following along, if you don't understand the words that is coming out of his mouth, look in the very upright corner. There is going to be a young man or a young lady. I don't know what they identify as. They did not tell me what their pronouns are. And it is in a very small window that you can see sign language. So if you understand sign language and you don't know how to read lips, just looking at very, 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 very small window in the upper right-hand corner. And that way you can follow along to what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen.
Revitalize our economy and make all 5 boroughs more livable for the 8.3 million people who call New York City their home. For the last 2 years, we have worked every day to make our vision a reality.
8.3 million people.
And I'm proud that we are heading in the right direction.
Okay, Eric.
Jobs are up. Crime is down. Tourists are back.
Woo.
Our streets are cleaner. Our children.
Yeah. Yo, I'm going to speed this up. Don't worry. We're going to put this at 1.25. Have y'all ever heard bigger lies in your entire life than a politician moving his lips? Listen, I thought that women lied. I know it's some women out here lying. Not my bag chasing women, but yo, literally, this man stood up here with a straight face and told you to your face without blinking that everything is great and better than it's ever been before and over in New York City. Good God Almighty. Eric, that's how we gonna do it? That's what we doing in 2024? We lying straight face? Okay, listen. 1.25, you talk a little bit slower, but we gonna get through this.
Test scores are better. Every day, we are delivering for working class New Yorkers. And all this has occurred while we fed, clothed, and cared for more than 170,000 asylum seekers who entered our care since the spring of 2022. That's over 1.5 times the population of Albany. More importantly, we have put migrants on the path to self-sufficiency by helping them submit over 27,000 applications for asylum, work authorization, and temporary protected status.
Work authorization. I want y'all to remember that word. Work authorization. Jobs. They coming to take jobs. They coming to take votes, and they're coming to displace you.
We have also helped more than 60% take the next steps in their journeys. As we often say, only in New York. These accomplishments are the results of our administration's careful fiscal planning and steady management. They also would not be possible without the hard work and dedication of every city agency and the many New Yorkers who strive each day to deliver a safer, cleaner, and fairer New York.
Hey, can anybody confirm that this person in the upper right-hand corner that's doing his sign language is actually good at their job? That's all I want to know. Because I know that a few years ago, there was somebody that got caught. They applied for, it was a black woman. She applied for the sign language job. Nobody was actually reading sign language. So what happened was she was able to get away with her job and she made a bag. Fake. She was able to get a bag. She did it for a long time too. Hold on. I just want to. Can anybody confirm before we get back to this budget? Of whether or not this sign language interpreter is actually good at their job. Because I don't want people taking up jobs that's not supposed to be there. Give me a second.
It's happened again. Another sign language interpreter accused of signing total gibberish. This time it was at the police news conference announcing an arrest in the Tampa serial killings.
We will be charging 4 counts of first-degree murder.
Standing off to the side, apparently translating every word, this woman.
We received over 5.
You gotta have the confidence. Yo, you know how much confidence you gotta have to stand up there during a murder investigation to be up there signing? You gotta, dog, you y'all never heard about this? Y'all never seen this before? Oh my God. Do you know how much confidence you gotta have to be over there signing? Then everybody's standing and sitting next to you, and you gotta make this believe, dog. I'm sorry, we get derailed on the Millionaire Morning Show because we think of things and it go left. This is a normal occurrence. Don't be alarmed. This is what we do. Okay, you gotta have the confidence of 10 men to go up there on a national stage, do your hair, get dressed, put your makeup on, and then go up there and wing it. Who passed the job interview?
5,000 tips in this case.
But it turns out much of what she was signing was nonsense. She waved her arms around like she was singing Jingle Bells, says one outraged sign language expert. The woman, identified as Derlin Roberts, has a string of
Woo! Look at these woman mugshots. That's crazy.
arrests for fraud. So how did she come to be translating at last week's high-profile police news conference?
I just didn't ask enough questions.
Tampa Police Public Information Officer Steve Hegarty.
See? It's the same type of white man that was calling up to After Hours last night. If y'all not subscribed to After Hours with Anton Daniels, just put it inside of the description. Or I'm sorry, put it inside of the search bar, type After Hours with Anton Daniels. Then this is exactly the type of black woman that's going to finesse that white man that called into my show last night. It's going to play the same thing. He going to say the same thing to Anton. I didn't answer enough questions. Anton, I didn't ask her enough questions.
He told me the woman simply showed up out of the blue and offered her services.
My immediate reaction was, I didn't call for a sign language interpreter, but that's great that we have one here. I let her in.
Did this woman appear to know what she was doing?
To the untrained eye, and that would include mine, I didn't see any problems.
This latest
Cap, look at this woman. Yo, that don't even look real. That does not look real.
embarrassment comes 3 months after it was revealed that the sign language interpreter at a Hurricane Irma news conference, also in Florida, made no sense.
The time to act is now.
Hegarty is summing up the latest goof.
We won't be using that woman again.
Cops say.
Anyways, I don't want to derail us. We got to get back to the New York budget, y'all. All right, let's see what Eric is saying.
As we crafted the fiscal year 25 preliminary budget, asylum seekers have come through our shelter system in record numbers. They have been legally paroled into the country and have the potential to contribute so much to our city. Currently, more than 68,000 are still in our care.
Somebody confirmed to me that this guy in the upper right-hand corner is doing a good job.
Of sheltering migrants before they take the next steps in their journey has significantly increased the city's
I know,
spending.
see, it's crazy.
This, along with COVID-19 stimulus funding drying up, tax revenue growth slowing, and unsettled labor contracts that we inherited. It widened the fiscal year 25 budget gap to a record level.
It's all lies. What he's saying is lies. Why is it a lie, Anton? Because he refused to take responsibility for how he messed up the budget. So what he's basically conferring to you guys is, listen, the problems that we got with the budget that I solved, it was inherited. It didn't come from me. This is the thing that we solved for. We fixed it. When I got it in my lap, it was a mess. This is the thing that we was already trending down towards. I fixed what the problem was in the budget. That's what he's basically, in a C student translation, on my translation, he basically is saying that we inherited this and we circled back, came back in through the back door and fixed everything. That's what he's telling y'all. This dude is signing y'all.
Through responsible and effective management, we've been able to provide care for asylum seekers and balance the budget. We did not drag our feet or waver on our values. We made tough but necessary decisions about spending and savings early in the budget cycle. We took steps like implementing a hiring freeze and a program to eliminate the gap, or PEG savings program, setting us up to succeed. These actions, along with an unexpectedly strong economy, help balance fiscal year 20.
And I'm just now also noticing that Eric Adams is not a strong reader. Anybody else notice it as we talking about this budget? As he's reading the teleprompter? Is anybody else noticing that Eric Adams is a C- reader? I'm just saying. The person that is managing a multi-billion-dollar, $100+ billion budget in New York is not strong at reading, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to point that out really quickly. Let me just make sure that I acknowledge that. Let me slow this down slightly, go back to normal speed, and see what's going on here.
Let's be clear. We balanced the budget without unduly burdening New Yorkers with tax hikes or massive service reductions, and without laying off a single city worker. But we're not out of the woods. While we have stabilized our fiscal picture.
Who wants to read the first chapter? People be in the background like, all of a sudden you so busy with your schoolwork. I'm so focused on my schoolwork. Then they just look right on over to you. Eric, stand up and read chapter 1.
And put New York City on the right track. To keep moving forward, we still need help from the federal and state governments. Last September, we announced that without additional assistance, we would need to take PEG savings in our November, January.
Not the November. Are we in November? Yeah. We need to make sure we take PEG savings in the November calendar year. Listen. I don't want to get distracted. Let's focus on the budget. Let's focus on the budget. We got to get to this fiscal budget so we can understand what's going on in New York and how the people are going to be affected, all right? Come on, Eric. Lead us through. Take us to the promised land, baby.
And April budget.
This live this video is only supposed to be 11 minutes long. As a result, it's 24 minutes. I'm not sitting through this whole thing. Let's try to get the meat, spit out the bones, y'all. Let's go.
While we still need to review the details of the governor's executive budget that was
Hold on. I wasn't expecting this. Hold on, Eric. Carry us through, baby. Hold on. Oh, I'm sweating. I need a piece of tissue. Let me back this up a little bit. Carry us through to the promised land, bro.
Still need to review the February and April budgets. While we still need to review
Oh my God. Oh, Jesus. Don't do it to me on a hump day, Jesus. I got a deadline to get through. I got a whole meet. Oh, God. Oh. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Ah. Oh, Jesus.
the details of the governor's executive budget that was just released. If we receive sufficient funding from the state, we will be able to cancel the April PEG savings program and avoid the possibility of service reductions in the future. The surge in asylum seekers is a national crisis that requires a national strategy, coordination, and funding. New York City cannot manage the effects of this surge on its own. I've been to Washington, D.C. more than 10 times to advocate for the needs of New Yorkers, particularly as it relates to this humanitarian crisis. But as I left Washington last month, I was again reminded that the cavalry is not coming, at least not yet. We cannot wait endlessly for the federal government to do their part. If they won't act, we must. That means containing costs now to prevent more serious consequences for taxpayers in the future. Our strategy had two parts. Part one, help asylum seekers in our care take the next step in their journey towards self-sufficiency and achieving the American dream. Part two, provide services to those still in these cities' care, but do so more efficiently and in a more cost-effective manner. With the new strategy implemented over the last 2 months, we bent the curve. We are lowering spending and preparing to use resources more efficiently in the future. Although we continue to experience extremely high numbers of new arrivals, we provided 30 to 60 days of intensified casework management.
Ooh, 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 don't do this to me today. I'm not going to. Oh, God, I'm not doing this. Oh.
Provided 30 to 60 days of intensified casework.
Let's take a break, y'all. T. Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Come on, y'all. We got to get through this show. We got a lot more to cover. I'm not doing that.